Welcome everyone. It's a beautiful Saturday. Hopefully the weather holds out. Got some festivals today. Well, my name's Jadyn. I'm here to tell you about my stepfather, Paul Doc Layton. Now, not everyone is lucky enough to have a very important father in their life. I was lucky enough to start with two. One by chance, one by choice. Now, you might think a step-parent can never love a child as much as they love their own, but I'm here to tell you that it is, I've had it for 32 years now. Though my stepfather was not there when I was born, he has made up for that every step of every day. Through him I learned how to truly love, how to support, and to inspire. Now, I had my dad when I was younger. He was always there. He went to all my games, every event, and although him and my mom were divorced, I would go to his house every weekend with my older brother, let him know what happened, spend our quality time together. But I never thought about all the work that went into those events. The person who was coaching me, the person who was picking me up from student council. It was always my stepdad, Doc. I always love the fact that I get to call him Doc because it is so close to Dad. I can remember probably in 7th grade, I would call my parents after, my mom and my stepdad, I always call them my parents, after all my after-school activities. Now, I would call collect, and for those in the audience who have never used a payphone or have never called collect, you call, when the operator prompts you, you say your name, and the person on the other line accepts or declines the call, so they get charged or they don't get charged. So when I would call, I would always, when they asked for the name, I would say, "Mom, come pick me up," so that she could just hang up, so that they knew to come pick me up. They didn't have to incur the charges. Trying to be clever. But I remember one day my mom sat me down and she told me, "Why don't you ever ask for Doc? I think he would really like that." And it never occurred to me that he was waiting for me, like he always did for me. He always was there showing me love, but he was kind of waiting for me to ask for him, to need me, or he wanted me to need him, to love him, to show him the love that he was always showing to me. And that was one of the first times it ever actually occurred to me as a young person. So then, as I got older, my dad remarried. It stopped being as important to him. He had a new family. He stopped coming to my games as much, stopped coming to certain events. That's how I learned to support, because where my dad dropped that ball, my stepdad was there picking it up, and he was running with it. He always supported everything I did. Some of my favorite things that he would do, especially, he was my coach. I was a basketball player, as you can tell from my staggering height. I was not a very good basketball player, but I tried my hardest. I remember one day, in the middle of the game, he's coaching, and he was that guy. He was yelling, he was screaming, he was getting everybody amped up. And I just was not playing my hardest. I was not putting my all. I just remember him yelling that he was going to pull me out. He still loves telling the story to this day of me turning, giving him this look of defiance, and just playing the hardest I've ever played. He loves telling the story of how much of an attitude I gave him. But he always knows how to push the right buttons in me to get me to work my hardest. And he always supported me doing everything I could. So as I became an adult, my father no longer was a part of my life. Kind of a mutual decision. Sorry. don't want it to be about my father because it's about my stepfather. But my stepfather, he became my father. He became the grandfather to my daughter. And he inspired me so much to have the patience and the caring and the love for someone who wasn't actually biologically his. My stepfather recently turned 70. We had a fantastic party in North Carolina for him. And me and my husband and my daughter were getting off the plane. Him and my mother standing at the end of by the baggage claim waiting for us to come. My daughter, who was 4, sees them, goes running. My stepdad gets down like this, waiting for my daughter to come running into his arms. She went, whoop, veered right by him. Aww. And he just smiled and waited his turn. And watching his patience for that little 4-year-old, and all he wanted to be the one, he wanted it to be about him. It was his birthday. Mm-hmm. He wanted the love, but he had the patience to just let her do what she wanted to do, to be there for her. And it just inspired me so much to be a better parent, to be more patient with her, and just to be more like him. So, I thought I was going to use these. So, my stepfather has taught me, Doc, has taught me how to earn love by putting the time and effort it takes to do so. He has taught me how to support my daughter, knowing when to just quietly help her and when to loudly push her. Most importantly, though, he has always and continues to inspire me every day to be the best that I can be. Thank you.